Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Attorney General, for being here today. I want to follow up on some of the questions that have already been posed relative to surveillance. We've had a lot of conversation in the country about phone records, but I want to talk about Section 215 and 214 for that matter. Is it your view that other data held by third parties, for example, financial records or emails or records of what an individual searches for on the internet that are held by third parties, is in the same legal posture? I'm not suggesting it's being done, but as a legal matter is in the same posture as phone records?
Well, do you mean to compare it to the bulk telephony program that existed?
Yes. I mean, the government's view is that it is constitutional to collect bulk phone records because they're business records. There are other records that are held by third parties, for example, emails, searches of the internet, financial records that are, I believe, covered under 215. I'm just trying to probe whether that's your understanding as well.
Well, under the way in which we are trying to reform 215, the notion is that a request has to be supported by reasonable, articulable suspicion.
Well, but you're not answering my question. My question is, are these other records in the same legal posture as the phone records?
They're governed
I mean,
by,
it's either yes or no.
I'm not sure I'm understanding the question. I mean, they're governed by the same law. So, I mean,
okay, then you've answered my question. Thank you. I want to talk about Section 702. Mr. Clapper sent a letter to Ron Wyden on March 28th indicating that there have been queries of U.S. persons of communications that he says were lawfully acquired under Section 702. Now, in taking a look at what the FISA court said just a few years ago, in 2011, they observed that the NSA acquires more than 250 million internet communications each year pursuant to Section 702. That was in 2011. I want to probe how it could be that we would collect this data looking at foreign persons on a 51% basis of confidence that the person is abroad, and then feel free to query for U.S. persons. How does that comply with the Fourth Amendment in your judgment?
Well, I certainly think that everything that's been done is consistent with the Fourth Amendment, but that really only goes part of the way. The President has said, just because we can do certain things doesn't necessarily mean that we should do them. We've looked at 215. We've proposed modifications. As I've indicated, we're looking at Section 702, and I think we're going to have modifications that we're going to propose there as well.
Let me ask you in terms of whether you think we have legal or constitutional limits in receiving information on American citizens in the United States that have been collected or obtained from our allies, for example, Britain or Canada or Australia's security forces. Is there any prohibition constitutionally in our receiving information from allied agencies?
I'm not sure there is a constitutional prohibition, but we do have good relationships with our allies. We share information with them when that is appropriate.
Let me ask you in terms of other public data. We are in a situation in this country and really in the world where there is a digital record made of us wherever we go. I mean, you walk down the street, every ATM machine has a camera, every 7-Eleven has a camera. What is the Department's view in terms of the need for a judicial review to obtain those digital records and to data mine them for information about American citizens?
Well, I think the Department has different standards depending on the nature of the information that is sought, the privacy implications that are that are at play or that are a part of the determination. We try to do things in a way that are consistent with our obligations, obviously, under the Fourth Amendment, but go beyond that so that we don't turn ourselves into a state that we do not want to ultimately be. And so
but the question is, do you feel, does the department feel that you have to get a warrant or not to obtain and data mine such information?
Well, you say data mine, that's a very broad thing. I mean, it depends really on the nature of that which we seek. I mean, if you go back, when I was a young prosecutor, and you wanted to get, I don't know, do mail covers, for instance, there are a whole variety of things that you can do with and without the courts, and that is still the case.
Well, I see my time has expired, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to follow up, if I may, with you, Mr. Attorney General, with some specific questions that I hope I can get answers to, and I thank you very much.
And we hope the Attorney General will respond to those questions.